Street Fighter.
What's going on, fight fans? This is Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Rob Jarrell, and this is the recap to this past Saturday's IBF title fight for the vacant IBF middleweight title with Gennady Triple G Golovkin versus Sergey, the technician, Derevyanchenko. Now, what we got was a spectacular fight this weekend with two guys that was motivated to come in, get it done, and walk away with the belt that was dropped by Canelo Alvarez in order to keep his belts. I believe he had all but one belt. And we know with the IBF, they're a little bit more strict on the rules, so you have to defend the belt within a certain amount of time. So just to move on with the fight, again, we got a spectacular fight. Triple G, this was what we would call a turning point fight for him. We need to see how he looks after some great fights. Two great fights versus Canelo Alvarez and one versus Danny Jacobs, in which he fought tooth and nail with both fighters to come up short in one, draw in the other, and top Danny Jacobs in the last one. We know he's a little bit older, 37 years old, with the technician Derevyanchenko being about 33 years old. Both guys have extended amateur careers. Triple G has the edge in competition on the professional side, but Derevyanchenko, being that he had an extensive background, amateur background, he has been moved along very quickly. He's fought Danny Jacobs, he's fought Terreno Johnson, he's fought Jack Calkay, the last two being former champions. So let's move on. What we got is the Ukrainian Triple G. Again, we needed to see what he was going to be going for in a fight versus a guy who is in the top 10, who is very talented and got his main coach back in his corner in Andre Rozier. And I will tell you, with this, Derevyanchenko looked much better with Rozier as his main cornerman, and Triple G is using Jonathan Banks. He recently changed fighters. This is his second fight with Jonathan Banks, who is best known of coaching Vladimir Klitschko. So in the preview, I said that Triple G would win, would stop Derevyanchenko late, but I wasn't surprised if it would go all 12 rounds, and that's what we got. Triple G won a unanimous decision. Two cards, 115 to 112. One card, 114 to 113. The scores were like that because he got a first-round knockdown against Derevyanchenko, where he caught him with the delayed reaction. He caught him with the right hand, top of the head. I want to say back of the head, which stunned him and sent him down. But that was neither here nor there, being that the scores were so close. We saw that it did not faze Derevyanchenko much. Okay, so to go into the fight, I said that Jonathan Banks will have Triple G working with a little bit more fluidity, not winging his punches so much, and being a little bit more patient and varying up his attack. He does not look the same. We know with his last trainer, he was supremely conditioned, but he was more robotic in his approach to his different fights. We saw that in the Canelo fight. We saw that in Jacobs fight, and we saw that, I want to say, in the Brook fight, but he still won that within 4 rounds. So you got to take your hats off to both guys, mostly to Derevyanchenko, because after that first knockdown, and he has suffered a first-round knockdown before against Danny Jacobs, he could have pretty much folded like many other fighters have against Triple G. But he was highly motivated. His corner was motivated, and he came to fight. And in my preview, I said the one thing that he can't be is scared. He cannot be scared. He has to fight back, and that's exactly what he did. Not only did he do both of those, but he had a great plan. Triple G comes forward, a little bit more patient, started fairly slow. Well, he didn't start slow. He started pretty quickly in that first round, pressing Derevyanchenko, coming forward and really working that jab like he normally does. But the difference was Derevyanchenko was coming back with his own very effective jab. And I'm not talking about that pole-like jab that Golovkin had, but I'm talking about being active, not throwing one punch at a time. He's, boom, touching, varying the speed up. And not only that, but he feinted him quite a few times and concentrated on the body. He would bam, bam, stiff jab to the body, bam, bam, stiff jab to the body or lead to the body. But he showed both upstairs and downstairs to keep Golovkin guessing. And I would honestly say that his utilization of his jab was done much better than Golovkin. Now we know Golovkin, he can still throw that jab. It's a jab that can hurt you and is very effective. But I just think Derevyanchenko, being that he didn't throw one jab at a time. Some guys are just either like Danny Jacobs, putting it out there, just putting it out there, but not really throwing anything behind it or with nothing of consequence. Derevyanchenko had it with a purpose. Look for it, look for it, look for it. I'm going downstairs. Look for it, look for it. I'm coming in. Not only that, but he, again, not only his utilization of the jab, but his ability to go to the body. He would jab downstairs, then jab coming in and go directly to the body. He would throw one or two hooks, left hooks to the body and come upstairs and then bring the right over the top. And quite a few times he did throw a jab, too, which was very effective. Again, it kept Golovkin at home quite a bit and kept him from establishing his own jab and consistent offense through the first half of the fight. I thought Derevyanchenko did a great job. He would step in, would jab and step in, then step immediately to his right and bring the right hand over the top, dig to the body, or come in with the jab, have pivot to his left, body over the top. He, unlike a lot of Triple G's opponents, did not stand right in front of Triple G. He did not let him back him into a corner, cut off the ring throughout the first half of the fight. He was on his toes, moving in and out, giving him a lot of looks, and that's what you ask for from an opponent of Triple G. But not only that, when he got close, he continued to work. If Triple G got a punch in, he would try to throw two or three. He kept the combinations coming. He made sure to get every punch back. Even though when Triple G hit Derevyanchenko, you saw it. You saw it. I mean, you could hear it. It just had way more weight. But there were a lot of times, especially to the body, I think he caught Golovkin really hard in about either the fourth or fifth round where he threw it right under the right elbow, right to the breadbasket, right? Boom. And it really hurt Golovkin. He did not like that. And that was a consistent thing throughout the fight, is Derevyanchenko committing to the body. Again, and he did a lot of good things when he got inside. Kept Golovkin from working, using his shoulders, pushing Golovkin off him so he would have to reset and keep from slipping in a overhand right or uppercut to the body. Golovkin, on the other hand, there are a few things that was different. Oh, and like I said, being that Derevyanchenko had Rozier, who coached Danny Jacobs versus Triple G, I'm not saying he had a blueprint, but he was familiar with Triple G. Triple G, on the other hand, tried to establish his own jab, tried to vary it up. What he did quite a bit, I thought he would just show the left hook over the top, but he committed to throwing his own jab and throwing multiple hooks to the body and upstairs, more so upstairs off that hook quite a bit to Derevyanchenko. And if you know Jonathan Banks, that's one of the things that he really worked on with Vladimir Klitschko, is throwing the hook off the jab. I'm not saying he couldn't have, Triple G wasn't doing it, was incapable of doing it, but it was a lot more fluid, and he really threw it with more poise. Now, I hope Jonathan Banks isn't mistaking Triple G for Klitschko, because one, he doesn't have that superior height that and length that Klitschko had over his opponents at heavyweight. Triple G does not have that. Matter of fact, I think he's of average height in the middleweight division, because you have some tall fighters like Andrade and Charlo and Murata, who are just going to, I'm not going to say tower, but are going to have a few inches in length and height over Triple G. But he did throw the left hook multiple times right off his jab to step in. I thought he did a good job of being active. I think he didn't fight with quite as much urgency as he should have in the first half of the fight, but I did see that the judges and the unofficial judge gave quite a few rounds in the middle portion of the fight to Triple G. I didn't think he deserved it. I think he fought much better and much more active and with a much more sense of urgency in the last 3 rounds, where there were a few times where he hurt Derevyanchenko, and I think both of them were just running out of gas, and it was just who could finish better. And I think Triple G finished better, but Derevyanchenko lasted pretty well through the length of the fight and really took a lot of wind out of the sails of Triple G with that consistent body work. Triple G did catch him for a knockdown. They did give him the knockdown, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But he did open up a cut. They said it was an accidental headbutt. I thought it was from a punch, the left hook to a pretty dangerous part of the eye, or the right eye, right eyebrow, where the blood could get right in his eye, and it did quite a bit throughout the fight. But they said it was through an accidental headbutt, which means that the fight could be stopped at any point during the fight. Derevyanchenko fought with much urgency, trying to get as many rounds as he can, because at any point, if they stop the fight, it's a good chance that he could lose, especially because of that knockdown in the first round. But again, it was a hell of a fight. I think Derevyanchenko will continue to fight. I think a lot of people will think differently. I can see him fighting Canelo. I can see him fighting Ryota Murata, possibly. But he's with Top Rank, so that's kind of iffy because this was on dazn. I can see him fighting Andre, and I can see him giving all 3 guys hell. But I think there will be an immediate rematch between Triple G and Derevyanchenko, because one, it's like Triple G likes to have the big drama show. There was a lot of action in this fight. There was a lot of back and forth. Derevyanchenko, again, was not afraid of Triple G, and a lot of times he did push him back with his own offense, and is basically doing all those little things to keep Triple G from getting off consistently until the second half of the fight. Triple G, on the other hand, they said he had a flu or flu-like symptoms for this fight, even to the point where they have the mandatory next same-day weigh-in, so you can't weigh more than, I believe, 8 or 10 pounds. I can't quite remember the day of the fight, and he actually missed the weight. I think he had to lose the extra pound or so weight, and it was from a possible flu, cold, something. Because in that first half of the fight, I don't know if he was just getting off slow, was just a little bit wary, the body shots, but he looked a bit sluggish. He was not on his toes. He did not come forward with the kind of urgency that you normally see with them, but he is a great, great fighter. Derevyanchenko, he was on his toes. He was moving. He was in and out, shooting the feints. Probably fought his best fight I've seen, even with the loss to Danny Jacobs. This was a fight that could have gone either way, in my opinion. It just happened to go Triple G. I think the knockdown, 1 or 2 rounds in the middle of the fight, and the last 3 rounds is what really gave the fight to Triple G. A lot of people say Derevyanchenko won the fight. You can make a case for that. Depends on what you were looking for. I think his ability to answer every punch from Golovkin with not just one, but several shots of his own, his ability to push Triple G back, just not physically, but with his own offense. I think he just looked great in this fight, but it was just too little too late for Derevyanchenko. Had he been able to push maybe one of those last 3 rounds a little bit better, he would have either gotten a draw or even gotten a win. I think the 12th round, he should have fought a little bit. He should have pressed a little bit more, and I know it's Triple G, so you still have to always be cognizant of what he can do. But as of right now, that's all I got for you. Tell us what you think. Do you think Triple G won the fight? Do you think the technician won the fight? Do you think they should have an immediate rematch? Fight of the year candidate? Hit us up in the comments down below. Be respectful to yourselves and us. Hit us up on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Instagram, Capital Combat. If you haven't already subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button so we can bring more content to you. And until next time, fight on.
This is round 1 and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is